Michelle Graves, your host on The Power of Money, and I'm honored to have you as a part of my world in this coming segment. With The Power of Money, as you know, we are interested in three things. First, that you get the necessary education so that you and your family will have the information to do well in these difficult times. The second thing I'm interested in is for you to be empowered to prosper. I want only the best for you, but you can't get that if you don't have the education and then the drive to make it happen. And the final thing, and perhaps the most important thing, is that you be energized. Because life is more than a journey. Life is about living. And so I want you to learn these things and to be empowered and encouraged and energized. I'm Michelle Graves. Now here we go.
And welcome to today's segment of The Power of Money. I'm your host, Michelle Graves. And as always, I'm delighted to have you as a part of my world for the next hour, where we're going to be talking about, on today's show, diabetes, what it is and what it is not. And as my guest, I'm delighted to have in the studio a very familiar face, which is Dr. Rick Howard, who is a naturopathic doctor specializing in health and wellness in the United States. And we're going to be having this discussion today, and hopefully you'll be able to learn some things, glean some things, and begin to make some real heartfelt decisions about your health, your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health, and ultimately your spiritual health. But today our subject is going to be diabetes, what it is not, and what you need to do about it. So, as always,
good to be here.
Good to be here. Good to have you here. Where do we want to begin with this subject?
Well, we have to say at first that we
Okay.
don't have enough time, and we just started.
We don't have enough time, but we have to do the best we can in the time we have.
Well, I think that the starting point has to be, as I say all the time, health is really our responsibility. I want to make that clear. If you don't get anything else and you have to go, you will at least take that with you, that whatever your health is, it's your responsibility. Don't give it to the doctor. Don't give it to someone in a health food store. It's your responsibility. And particularly when it comes to something like diabetes, it has become almost pandemic.
I would have to say you would be hard pressed not to watch television and be inundated with these advertisements promulgated by pharmaceutical companies for diabetes and A1C, and try this product and try that product. And then you're like, my goodness gracious, I feel like I'm buying snake oil. What is happening here?
Well, I think that we'd almost have to start with the fact that the medical community has really, and I hate to sound like this, but they have taken over the whole idea of what health is. And really, health is not a medical issue, okay? It's a life issue.
That's powerful when you shared that with me before we came on air, that your health is a life issue.
It's a life issue.
That's something.
And by the time you let it become a medical issue, then it's late, okay? It's late because, and what I mean by the difference between the two.
Okay.
Okay. And since we're just starting this discussion with diabetes, let's stay in that lane.
Okay.
Okay. Diabetes, there's no consensus in the medical community what the causes are, but they talk about a technical definition of what diabetes is. It's really, sugar is not a bad thing, okay, number one.
Oh my goodness.
That's,
oh my goodness.
yeah.
You said that.
Yes, I said that. Sugar nobody, no organism is going to live without sugar, okay?
Okay.
Particularly glucose is pointed out, that is critical. That is, your brain works by glucose, your muscles work by glucose. Every cell in your body wants glucose, okay? So
Every cell.
every cell in your
Whew.
body works by glucose.
Okay.
Okay, so the problem with diabetes is really placement and timing. It's that glucose molecule is supposed to be in the cell and not waiting outside the cell.
Huh.
Okay,
That's the key.
That's the key. That's what diabetic, when they measure your blood sugar level, they're really measuring how orderly your body is about putting its glucose away. That's really
Whoa.
it. Okay.
Okay.
So
this is interesting.
when you think about that, what determines that?
Whether the glucose is on the outside of the cell or the inside of
Or
the
the
cell.
inside. Now, it's not because you were born with a deficit for metformin or glucophage. It's not because you were born needing insulin injections. That's not why. Okay, so the dynamics of it in a reasonably, let's say, normal person, whatever that means,
Okay.
right? If my blood sugar is too high, for whatever reason, if I ran or walked for 45 minutes,
Okay.
my blood sugar is automatically going to come down.
Because you are expending.
I am sending orders by walking
Okay.
that tells my body, hey, I need that extra sugar that's waiting in the hall there, send it over to these legs.
To propel the legs.
To propel the so you move, exercise moves the sugar from where it should not be to where it should be. So we've discovered it's not lack of glucophage or metformin. It's the dynamics of your life. You're sitting on the couch watching Batman instead of moving and moving. Another dynamic is, how much water do I drink? Okay. So all of the dynamics of what happens medically with diabetes is because, okay, when that sugar sits outside the cell,
okay,
well, the body says, hey, we need to do something. So the pancreas releases more insulin, okay, trying to coax that sugar into the cell. So the insulin is like a key. It says, let's open this door so you can get in.
Okay.
Wait, this is not working. So when the key of insulin is not working well, they call that insulin resistance.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
So there's a locked door. The insulin is a key
to open
the door. Now, so, too much sugar outside, not enough inside where it should be.
And then to force the door to open so that the sugar on the outside comes inside.
So one way we said was exercise.
Right.
Another way is fiber. Eating high fiber foods actually says, let's put a little graphite in this lock.
Okay.
It opens
the door. Hi. So give me some examples of high fiber food.
So to put it on really low scale, instead of apple juice, which has no fiber, because all the fiber's been thrown away, I eat an apple, which is high in fiber.
Okay.
See, that instead of eating white bread, I eat whole grain breads.
Okay. Got it.
Instead of eating
White rice.
white rice, I eat brown rice, and so on and so forth. There are different scales and things, but essentially, again, we've just discovered another lifestyle element that literally and quickly controls where the blood sugars move. Another one is water.
Okay.
Okay? So all of these dynamics are a long way. When you let that insulin not being able to open that door sit in your bloodstream, guess what happens? The insulin deteriorates the blood vessels. That's why diabetics get kidney problems and eye problems and other things, because that insulin and that sugar is just sitting there and it becomes a waste.
Right.
So now it's irritating your kidneys, it's irritating your nerves, your joints, and all of that because it's in the wrong place.
This is absolutely amazing information. Are you all finding this amazing, or is it just me? Because this is not the way it's explained.
No.
It is not the way it is explained. And now there's a serious shift from insulin to products that force the pancreas to begin to produce insulin.
Well, I mean, and that's another misconception that's given about diabetes, particularly diabetes type 2, which is 95% of people with diabetes. You're told, well, your pancreas is not making enough insulin, and that's not the case.
Okay.
It's just that the cell is rusty.
Ah.
The lock on the cell is rusty,
Okay.
so it won't open.
Okay.
But exercise and fiber and water, they always make it open.
Always.
You cannot, if you
Oh,
run,
my words, this is
if you
so
run and you're running from a dog,
yes.
okay, it's always going to open because it says, okay, we need that sugar. There's sugar over there. Get it here
right
now.
Okay.
Okay, because your body is saying, I need that, and so it always opens. Is that a medical issue? Is that a medical issue that you had to run from that dog? I mean, if you're late, it could become,
a medical issue.
But in terms of diabetes, no, it's a mechanism. So really, your body, diabetes is about timing.
Okay.
Okay, to use a passage from the Bible, it says, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven.
Yes.
So look, if you have eaten a meal, let's not talk about what that is right now, whatever that is. So your body's first job is to break that down to a smaller size, simpler concoction.
Okay.
That's what happens in the stomach and really starts in the mouth. You're going to break that down with different enzymes, and you're trying to make it smaller and smaller so that by the time it goes into the small intestine, it's absorbed. But let's just deal with that part right now.
Okay.
That takes time. So you have to know, and there's only 3 types of food, and like I said, I know we're throwing out a lot of information
Yes,
here.
but this is so desperately needed.
But there's only, I think the biggest thing with diabetes understanding is the lack of knowledge.
Right.
Okay, so I know people say, well, there's pizza, there's popcorn, there's chicken, there's fish. What do you mean there's only 3 types of food? There's only 3 types.
3 types.
Proteins,
Exactly.
fats, and carbohydrates. You need them all. the primary source for energy and your body doing anything is carbohydrates,
Short energy.
sugar.
Mm.
And we say short energy, but no, take that off of there.
Okay.
Because you can have, there are 3 types of carbs and many proteins and fats, but there's monosaccharides, and saccharides is sugar, disaccharides, and trisaccharides.
Okay.
Okay. Trisaccharides are more rare, shall we say? Not rare, that's not a good word, but they are complex sugars that actually heal things in your body. Okay. The simple sugar, the monosaccharide, would be like glucose.
Okay.
Your body says, that's it, that's what I want. That's why if you eat too much sugar, you actually get this high feeling, oh, I feel good, that feels so wonderful, because your brain gets overloaded with it, okay?
Oh, wow.
And you can literally get drunk.
On sugar.
On sugar, right. Now, why am I saying that? Carbohydrates without fiber, which would be like a donut.
Okay.
I've taken all the fiber away, or cornflakes.
Okay.
Did I say that?
Yeah.
Yes. Cornflakes. Cornflakes is nutritionally about the same as eating newspaper. Okay? They've taken the fibers away, they've taken the bran away, they've taken away nutritional elements and just processed it into this flat thing that it doesn't nobody good except the people that sell it.
Exactly.
Okay, Kellogg's.
Okay. Okay.
So that's carbohydrates stripped of any fiber. That moves very quickly through your system.
Okay. And when you say moves, as in ingested.
As in from here to the end.
To the end. Boom.
Boom. It's so,
Okay.
it spends probably, if you ate something like that, it probably spends 4 or 5 hours in your stomach, 4 hours, then through your digestive tract, another 5 hours, 6 hours, then it's out. If things are working well.
If things are working well.
So.
But what did it
if
leave behind?
Well, you leave, the body says, really, when it looks at that, it doesn't read cornflakes, it says,
What is this?
what is this? It's some kind of carbohydrate, but okay. So your body struggles to deal with that. Now, who eats cornflakes at one meal and then eats milk at another meal, then eats, you don't eat like that. So when you add, let's say for sure, for diabetics, just to understand how the body works, when you add, most people are going to put a little sugar if they were like when I grew up.
Oh yeah, we put sugar on it.
And you put some milk on it, right?
Right.
That's how you
that's
eat
your
the cereal. Okay. Sugar is another carb, but milk is a mixture of protein, a little carb, and fat. So it's mostly protein and fat.
Okay.
Which means those foods slow down how much time it spends in the body. Sugar's quick, carb quick,
But
proteins and fats slow. Okay, that
Got
makes
it.
a difference. Because when I eat that cereal, instead of the quick things going through quickly, no, it goes in reverse. Whatever takes the longest, the body works on, the stomach works on first.
Huh.
And then whatever's the simplest has to wait till it finishes.
So explain that.
So
okay.
when you eat sugar with the cornflakes, with cow's milk, your body actually makes alcohol out of that.
Oh no.
Because
no.
the interaction between those things in the hot stomach with the enzymes and you make it alcohol. in your stomach. Okay, so there's a whole science to food.
Oh my.
That, okay, if you ate, let's say, growing up in the South,
Yeah.
I would eat, sometimes we'd have rice and chicken and
Yep.
stuff for
Yep.
breakfast.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Actually, the morning time is the best time to eat proteins and stuff.
Okay.
Okay. That's a whole nother thing. But it takes for that chicken, average chicken, and I eat more than average.
Okay.
I ate a lot of chicken and a lot of stuff. The average person, if things are working average for a man, it takes about from, let's say, let's push together men and women just for the sake of time. 43 on the low end, 57 on the high end
Okay.
hours for that protein to get all the way through your digestive. So the animal foods take that long to get through your system.
Because of?
It's tightly bound.
Okay.
If you ate an apple, it's going to be beginning to end in probably 6, if all you ate was the apple, a couple apples, 6 hours, 8 hours, it's out, beginning to end.
Okay.
You eat chicken, 43, 57 hours,
Hoo-wee.
difference. So in the meantime, who waits another 47 hours or 57 hours to eat another meal? Nobody
does that.
So your body is struggling with, it's pulling out sugars, which it wants for this and that and the other, but you're piling on more, piling on more, piling on more. So your body's out of kilter. It's on one hand trying to produce insulin to get this sugar out of the hallway.
Right. Right.
But on the other hand, the same pancreas, its first job is to produce digestive enzymes.
To break down the food you're ingesting.
To break down the food. So this is why the pancreas gets stressed, because
it's too much.
It's too much. And then on top of that, as Americans, we are not allowing any time between when I eat breakfast, okay, I got to be to work at 9 o'clock, let's say.
Okay.
So I might get up at 7, I'll have a little breakfast, a little bit, something. But I didn't really have time to eat because I got up a little late. So I'm going to grab a couple of donuts and take that with me, and I'll have some orange juice and coffee. But when I get to work, now I'm hungry.
Right, because the donuts are not filling.
They are just waste
Orange
food.
juice has no fiber.
Oh my goodness.
Coffee is a stimulant.
If you took, most orange juice is made from concentrate orange juice, no fiber, they take that out. So just a half a cup is 226 calories. Whereas if you had a half a cup of orange slices, 59 calories. And high fiber.
And high fiber.
So that for a diabetic not to understand the dynamics of those foods, but then on top of that, when I get to work and I've just had the donuts and I had the orange juice, okay, and maybe the coffee. So when I get to work, I'm hungry now. So I'm going to either snack or I'm going to send something out. Then a couple hours, lunch.
Right.
See, now I'm going to get, man, where do you want to go to lunch?
Subway.
We're going to go to Subway. But there's a McDonald's right across from the Subway.
That's fast. I'm going to go there.
I'm going to go. So what I have done from 7 o'clock in the morning till 12 or 1, my stomach and my digestive tract and my pancreas have had no rest. I've been working it and working it and working it and working it. And then, of course, after lunch, I want some peanuts. Girl, I just got a taste for them.
Okay.
Or some chips.
Yeah.
Or some cookies that I have in my desk. constantly working. So I'm throwing off the dynamics and rhythm
of the
of
body.
how the body should work. That is the condition of my life that the doctors eventually are calling diabetes. It's not a disease.
It is definitely. It's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle
of how I'm living.
I'm living.
That's it. So,
So-
man, I'm so stressed at work.
Tell me about
When
it.
my brain is stressed, it produces more hormones. The body produces hormones that tell me what?
I'm hungry.
I'm hungry because it releases insulin.
Ah,
You see, my thoughts actually tell there's two hormones in the fat cells of my
Okay.
body. One says don't eat, leptin. One says eat, ghrelin. When I eat junk foods, the one that tells me don't eat is more silenced. Because see, insulin is a hormone too. See, this is a hormone
situation.
So this is a balance. This is a timing issue. This is a circadian rhythm issue. Okay? So diabetes is simply a report card that our body is giving us to say how well we're managing the different elements of our
Right.
life. It is not a medical issue. By the time you see, wow, my A1C is 13, or
Yo, you're dead.
my
reads.
my urine is funny. I can't stay out of the bathroom. If I drink water, I'm going to be in the bathroom. So I stop drinking water. The very thing
you need, right, in quantity.
to begin
yes.
to, hey, let's thin this out. Let's not make this so concentrated so it starts doing damage to the eyes, to the kidneys, and everything. You see what I'm saying?
No, this is so, if I might interrupt,
Yeah.
Dr. Rick, this is so counterintuitive to what is happening today in the medical industry. And I am saying this because diabetes is epidemic. We did not grow up with this.
No.
Farm people, black people were at the bottom of the pile, but we didn't have that going on.
It was a very rare thing because I grew up in a semi-rural area.
Right, that's
in
what
Florida,
I'm saying.
And it was the rare person that had diabetes.
You called it sugar back then.
Sugar
And you're
diabetes.
like, what is that?
And I thought, I mean, like I said, if you were to take the poor, you say, most doctors and medical authorities, they say, well, poor people are just sort of cursed with having these diseases, and so you know you're just in bad shape. But let me tell you something. There was a study done by some Danish researchers.
Okay.
They did it on Americans, though. Okay.
Okay.
They found that even when a black person, same age, same economic status as a Caucasian,
Okay.
when they got the same or better medical care than the Caucasian, they were still 25% more likely to die.
Wow.
So what is?
So what is
where
it?
Is, where, so where does the money come in?
Right.
See, they said they compared people equal social status, equal age, equal everything, as much as they could get it, and yet every time the black person was 25% more likely to die than the Caucasian.
I have to believe, and you'll have to correct me, but I have to believe there has to be a level of sensitivity, perhaps in our eating, and it may have to deal with our DNA dynamics coming from Africa, where the food was plentiful and healthy and it wasn't processed. If you wanted a orange, you picked it and ate it. If you wanted greens, you dug them up and ate them, as opposed to where we are today, where being poor is consistent with a lifestyle of highly processed food, a lot of snacks, a lot of.
Well, can I interject something?
Yeah, I'm
on
just
that,
fishing
that,
here.
because it's a very interesting thing you just mentioned.
Okay.
Now, I grew up in a poverty area.
Okay.
We
As
had,
did I.
We had the government powdered
Yes,
milk
and cheese.
cheese, peanut butter with the oil that
Yes,
thick
that
on
thick.
top.
Yes,
You
and
know,
screwed up
okay.
cans, metal cans.
So here was the thing. Just recently, the president of our United States and his administration are suggesting that instead of the SNAP benefits, you know, that's what they call the food stamps nowadays.
Yes.
The SNAP benefits, where they get a card, they can go to the grocery store
and buy
whatever they want. They are suggesting we go back to a system where you don't get to decide what you want.
Okay.
They are going to deliver a box of foods that they have chosen, that they have decided that this is what you need. You don't need this. We're going to give you canned this, non-perishable foods, they say.
Non-perishable.
So can you imagine the impact of such thoughtless administration would have on a people who are already downtrodden with chronic ailments?
Right. And now you get this.
Now there's no fresh vegetables, no fresh food. We're going to give you some fruit, but it'll be canned fruit.
Whew.
Can you imagine? See, really, that has nothing to do with wellness.
That has nothing to do with life.
Everything to do with, well, politics, but also a medicalized view of what's wrong with me and what's wrong with you.
Right.
You see, how you think about something like diabetes. We could sit here and talk about statistics. We could sit here and talk about drugs and this. We could even talk about herbs and things. But I tell people, if you are not sleeping, just take that one thing. If you are not sleeping at the hours you should, it affects how your kidneys work. Have you ever heard that your kidneys are involved with blood sugar management?
Not at all.
It is.
Not at all. But I do know, because of information you shared about the kidneys, and because I struggle with kidney issues, I do know that kidneys are that little known organ that controls and directs sugar.
Well, there's a balance actually between the liver, the kidneys, and then the pancreas is kind of this moderator, okay? You have digestion and metabolism, the two pillars that your whole health outlook lays upon. Okay. Then the rest are moderators. Your adrenal gland says, hurry up with that. There's a bear chasing you.
Right.
So everything goes into fast motion. But if you really stay in that mode, then your bones become brittle, your muscles deteriorate, everything, because you're meant to live under that stress. Maybe that's why Black people getting the same thing, they have this inherited stressed mindset.
Oh.
It doesn't matter whether I grew up
Oh.
a slave, but I'm old enough that I remember when, when I was 6, when I was 7, when I was 5, I go downtown, and you
Colored
saw
only.
the colored
Oh,
only,
yes,
or
indeed. The water fountains.
water fountains, or you go into, that is an inherited stress that I wasn't even aware of, you see. My
Right.
mother worked as a day woman, you know,
As did
going
most of our
ironing
and cooking and
cooking
taking care of their
for white
kids.
families. So what am I saying? The problem with diabetes and a lot of other things is we don't know enough about our own lives. We don't know enough about our own bodies to help ourselves. We say, well, I'm going to my doctor, he increased my medicine. Well, what does it do when you take 1,000 milligrams of metformin twice a day, or you're taking X amount? What does that do to your body? Most people have no clue.
And they have no idea other than this is what my doctor
This is what my doctor told
said.
me.
And I must say, it's just not as a sidebar, but just as perhaps a where do we go from here thing. And that is that I feel that most people want to do the right thing, Dr. Rick. I believe this. And the status of doctor, which is your 15-minute visit to see him or her, are now nurse practitioners, and that people leave not feeling good about the encounter.
Well, I think
Because they don't know. They don't know.
I think more than anything, people are just not empowered to do better by
Right.
those visits.
Right, right. But you don't know how to do better. And I appreciate the fact that you've been so willing and open to share your perspective as a naturopathic doctor, which I believe in totally. Just so you all know, I believe in that field because they were the people you went to when you were in days past. They were the ones that helped you to get well. It was not a doctor unless it was
and
surgery.
I think that that's a part of this whole not knowing, because most people in this country really don't realize that there was a time when medical doctors were less than a third of the practitioners that people went to see.
That is so amazing.
It was, excuse me, it was a political thing that caused the transition. And that we could do a whole show on. It's very interesting. But I think I like the idea of what you said. Where do we go? What should we do? And I think, number one, if you know you're in trouble, you already have diabetes, you already have certain problems, start broad.
Okay,
And then get more specific.
okay.
Because most people try to jump in on this specific thing and they get discouraged. Well, I'm only going to eat this way. I'm only going to eat that way. You are a creature of habit.
Oh my gosh, are we not?
Change these habits in a consistent and dynamic way that you know you can live with. So
Right.
if I know I'm eating, and you guys out there forgive me, but I'm eating White Castles and McDonald's and Wendy's every day,
And Arby's.
and Arby's and whoever, maybe you have to realistically assess whether or not you can change that in one day.
I don't think it's possible. You're
So
an
maybe
addict.
you say
Okay.
1 to 2 days a week, I'm cutting out this. Or some people are going to have to say 2 meals a week I'm starting here. Then grow to 3 meals. Then go to 4 meals. And then begin to learn what those 3 or 4 meals should look like every week. Okay? If I'm
Okay.
drinking 3 pops a day, I need to cut that down to 2 and replace it with water.
Right.
Okay?
Right. Can I sidebar? Why I've heard it said more than I care to think about, where there are a number of people that don't like water.
Well, I think that we have been trained what we like.
Okay.
Okay? You may not understand this because you don't deal with it all the time. Okay? You don't, when I say understand or recognize. Do you realize that doctors, medical doctors, pediatricians tell new parents, do not give your baby water until they're about 6 or 9 months old?
A doctor tells
They
the
tell
child
them that do not give them water. So
Well,
if you
how
only
they stay
giving them
hydrated.
if you only giving them formula,
Pedialyte.
Pedialyte, or fruit juice, then now I'm going to stick water in your mouth. You're going to say, what is
yeah,
that?
what is that? Yeah.
You see, that
Yeah, I
that's-
got it.
that's a belief system.
Okay.
It has nothing to do. They don't know physiology like they should. They don't know nutrition,
Right.
but they're giving nutritional advice, and I think that's a problem. But I think first take it upon yourself that you have a responsibility for your own health.
Got it.
Okay?
I'm responsible for me.
You're responsible. This is not a medical issue.
Okay.
It's a life issue. Secondly, set out to learn what you should do.
Okay.
Okay? Someone like me, I should be a person to help you,
Okay.
but I'm not going to follow you around with a gun and
Oh,
say,
no,
you know,
no. Mm-mm.
it's your responsibility.
It's your responsibility.
It's up to you. Okay? Thirdly, begin to practice what you learn. Begin to create new habits. You stay consistent with those new habits. Okay, yes, you said you were going to have one good meal every other day. You missed a day. Okay, you messed up.
Okay, but regroup.
Regroup and keep on schedule, because it is by formation of right habits that you displace bad habits.
That is a very powerful thing you just said.
You don't attack the bad habits and leave a hole in your system.
Right.
And you haven't replaced it.
Right.
But if I replaced it, if I want to get rid of somebody bad out of my life, I just crowd them out with good people. I just say, oh, you mind if Fred sits here?
Yes,
you know,
yes,
and then
yes.
before you know it, they're way over
Right,
there because
got
I've
it.
got good people.
Right.
I didn't have to attack that. You only have so much place and time and space in your life.
Period.
Put good things, overcome evil with
Good.
good. You have to too many people fail because they're trying to just stop that thing and they're not replacing it with something good. Okay?
I
To
understand.
me, diabetes is about recapturing the elements of your life. Do you really need to stay up till midnight to see the end of that movie? Why don't you just tape it?
Yes.
If you got to see it,
Yes.
just tape it. That'll be better for your health, because the longer you stay up, your blood pressure elevates, your blood sugar elevates, your kidney function goes down. And so now I think I got to go see the doctor.
Right.
How can the doctor change the elements of your life? All they're going to do is give you a pill.
They are,
That's it.
and are going to tell you, take it.
And the things that
Yeah.
I'm describing to you, not only are they healthier, but if you cut out eating at the fast food restaurants, bring your lunch, bring healthy things, you're going to start saving money. Put that aside. Save the money.
I
You
like
will
that.
improve
I like that.
your pocketbook,
Yes, your
and your
financial
health,
status.
then that's going to create more freedom for you
Yes,
mentally.
yes.
Wow, man, I got $100 that I don't. Where did that come from?
From not stuffing your
From not
face.
killing myself.
Yes,
And now I don't have to spend that $100 on the doctor.
which seems to be an invariable outcome for so many people.
Well, I take it personally because, I mean, as being a black man over 60, that is like a endangered species. Really, it is. If you
I
look
was
at
going to
the
say
health
oxymoron.
statistics,
You know, you're still here.
health statistics, black men over 60, and you're not going to the doctor, and you don't
No.
have high blood pressure,
No.
diabetes, arthritis, cancer.
Prostate
that is an
cancer.
enigma.
Yes.
That's an enigma. So I'm saying, wow, when we look at something like diabetes, we must first recognize this is a life issue.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a medical issue. By the time it becomes a medical issue, you're
It's
late
a
in the
problem.
game.
You're late in the game.
You're late in the game, and you've created a whole slew of problems. Yes, that can be dealt with, but I guarantee you'll spend more than you want to try to pull that car out of the ditch than you do than just by learning, hey, don't drive the ditch. There's
Right.
a yellow line right there.
Honor the rules.
Honor the rules.
Yes.
You see?
Yes, I got
it's
it.
a life issue.
Well, I think it's powerful that you put it in that way as a life issue, because certainly from my perspective, I can say very openly at 66 years old, and I said this morning, how the heck did I get to 66 years old? I'm not kidding you. It's like, shoom, life. And looking at so many of my peers who are gone, who have died.
I just went to a funeral the other day.
Died from, in many instances, quite preventable situations, prostate cancer, or, you know, complications from heart disease, or, you know, failure to manage a lifestyle so that they wouldn't lose their body parts, diabetes, that outcome, and then ultimately dying. Those are things that I'm not interested in happening to me. And I fully recognize, looking at the healthcare system we're faced with today and how it's automated and going to be even more automated with a distancing of people from their lives. It's about following what we say rather than living a life that is positive and healthy.
Well, there was a old black man that was talking to a preacher, and he said, you know, the thing about life is that it's so daily. Okay, so it is so daily. It keeps coming at you if you're fortunate.
If you're fortunate.
Now, I have my oldest client is in a month and a half, he'll be 101.
Oh my goodness, a centenarian.
My oldest client
Ooh-wee.
doesn't have, you know, all these problems, but it's still a learning thing that you do each day, because your body is going to give you a report card, whether you like it or not. You know, and medicine, I hate to say this, but I will have to say, it only covers up the report card.
Right, it deals with the symptoms.
Symptomology.
Symptoms,
So,
okay.
you know, and you gotta think about it that way, because if you are involved in just covering up the report card, you will be surprised by what kills you.
Oh, I can understand, and I am completely convinced that most people out here, including many of you that may be listening to this show, are deluded into a belief system that separates us from the life experience, which is God has made you responsible for your body. Said we are the temple, and we are responsible for taking care of this temple. And I absolutely believe that we are at a line in the sand, so to speak, where people are recognizing that this is not working.
Well,
this is
you
not
know,
working.
I do think, to put it in that context, faith cometh by hearing, the
Okay.
Bible says. You have to hear things like this in order to say, wow, you know, I didn't know that. I need to change. I need to do something different.
Right.
I need to understand some different things. You are going to have to study to understand.
Yes.
How do I take my life back?
Right.
Right?
Right.
But if you don't do that, then wow, we're not going to be able to live well.
Can you give our viewers your phone number, please?
My office number is 513-755-2019, and my cell that I use for my business, 513-571-9210.
And I would like to say, for those of you that have been listening patiently as we've talked about some intense stuff, but it's so critical because it's your life. Seriously, nobody is going to give you a magic pill to do this. It's going to require discipline. It's going to require processing this information. Remember, a commitment to information so that you can begin to make sound decisions. And again, and we didn't have time to mention it, but there are two books, one and that Dr. Rick brought, one, Diabetes Rising by Dan Hurley, excellent book, and another book by Dr. Joseph Mercola, Sweet Deception, about taking artificial sweeteners and that type of thing. I want to encourage all of you to get a handle on this and to begin to live like you want to live and stop playing with this. Life comes fast. So does death. And we'd like to see you on the living side of the equation. So thank you for again being a part of my world on today's segment of The Power of Money. I'm your host, Michelle Graves, and today's subject is diabetes. What is this? We'll see you next time. Take care and God bless you.